Lauren, really important game this weekend in the context of your season.
Yeah, every game's so important, and I think being that halfway mark of the year now, we're through that and we've got 6 games guaranteed ahead of us that we absolutely locked in on this one on Sunday.
Is this one? Do you make this one any more important than any of the others, given the ladder position? Or?
I don't think it can be, to be honest. I think every game with our group, we just need to be. There's a level of responsiveness to the week prior of what needs to be improved on, and then there's a level of understanding around consistency needing to be a focus for us this year. And we're very clear on what we do well when we play well.
We're basically at the midpoint of the season. What's your assessment of your year so far?
I think we've seen some games where we've been at our absolute best. Obviously, we set the scoring record in AFLW only a few weeks ago. North took it away from us pretty quickly, but to score 108 here in round 3, and we've just played round 6, is, it's really not that long ago. And so there's those moments, and then there's moments where, Geelong first quarter we don't show up in a way that we know that we can, particularly around pressure factor. And so and then there's moments in that Perth game against West Coast where we're not at the best version of ourselves. And so it's very much a reflection on, like, how can I support, as senior coach, how can I support our whole group to close the gap between our absolute best and the bottom level of us this year, because I don't think we can expect any level of perfection in footy, and we can't expect to be at our absolute best in every single moment, but how close can we get? And so a big part of my job is helping the group do that.
Is it a youth thing as well, trying to get used to
potentially
the consistency, trying to work that out?
Yeah, I think there's an argument around youth and age, and then there's I think some meaning in how many games has the group played together as a whole, and that's something I reflect on each year at the end of the year. And back end of last year we were 25 games on average less as a group than North Melbourne and Brisbane, and that I guess you'd call top end crew, when we'd finished in the top 4 last year. So a little bit of, is it how much experience can we build and perform at the closest to our best as possible each week with a young by age and an immature group together. So it's a decent job to guide that, but also a really nice challenge, and I'm enjoying it.
Have you gotten a response from the AFL regarding the decision last week?
Yeah, it hasn't been too public, but the AFL did respond Monday. Yeah, and said obviously that decision wouldn't be one that would be adjudicated in the same way if that moment happened again. So I think it's important for us to get clarity on that, so we don't jump at anything that doesn't need to be jumped at.
Is it almost like Hollow was it's nice that they say, we made a mistake, or it was a mistake, it shouldn't have happened, but it doesn't really, change the game or anything like that.
No, nothing changes those moments, and also we can't go back and change the first quarter and how we showed up, and I think that's far more important as a coach. And I think we can respond, and we've seen moments, even a week and a half ago we beat the D's here at Alberton, so that looked like a group that no one was getting close to, and they were undefeated before they came here to Alberton. And so there's sort of these peaks and troughs that are happening. So the main thing for us at Alberton and Port Adelaide is to focus on what we can control, and umpiring's not one.
How Lauren Young pull up after her first game?
She's good, yeah. Lozzie, really proud of Lozzie to make her debut, and that's a kid who, we talk about pressure factor and showing up in the right way. She played her first game of footy and was held on to for a large portion of the game and laid 7 tackles as a forward. I'm really pleased with how she showed up, and we saw some good offensive moments from her too, and I know with more experience under her belt at this level, she'll just keep getting better.
Hammond and Window come back as they're listed as tests this week, coming back from injury hopefully. What does that mean for selection?
Certainly a lot more selection pressure this week, and so we'd like to see Cheyenne and Piper train well tonight and continue to put their hand up for selection, and understand that, we're getting closer to having more of our squad available. I think all going well, we should have 27 available for selection this week, which is the healthiest our list has been all season. So very much looking forward to that.
How's Janelle, I guess, in the days after the upper ACL injury, and how's the group kind of going around her?
Yeah, honestly, it's it has barely been a week. It's heartbreaking, to be honest. Like, player who's essentially completed an ACL return and battling a couple little niggles to get back out there, and should have been playing in scrimmage less than a week ago. To re-injure her ACL is honestly been heartbreaking with the challenges that she's had in her career. So yeah, our group always gets to each other and supports each other really strongly, and we'll continue to do that for JC.
Has she been at the club, or has she spent some time away?
bits of both. I think, yeah, she's certainly someone that likes to be around the group, and then there's moments in time where, you know, there's different things that you need to do away from the group as well. So no, she's one that always shows up for a team.
And you hit the road this week, first time in a couple of weeks, over to Melbourne to face the Saints. How are you preparing for that?
Yeah, obviously look to train strongly tonight here at Alberton and head over Saturday morning with the crew, and we actually have a captain's run at Moorabbin on Saturday afternoon, so I think that's around midday in Melbourne, and watch the AFL Grand Final and then tick into a Sunday game at midday, which, yeah, I think the buzz around Melbourne in Grand Final week is one that's unmatched. If we get close to it, it's likely gather round. So we've seen a little bit of that in Adelaide in the last couple of years, and very much looking forward to rolling out the better version of ourselves on Sunday.
You going to get a ticket to the game, Loz?
I didn't. You got one?
You just want ready fast.
Nah, look, to be honest, I'm going to Melbourne for the job ahead of us, and that's on Sunday.
You've spoken a little bit about consistency this year, Loz, and obviously we were a little bit inconsistent last week across 4 quarters. How are you coaching the group through that?
Yeah, I think it's, again, what we spoke about earlier. It's got to be about what are we doing when we're at our best, and focusing on that at this point of the year. And you know, you can address a lot of other things in a pre-season, but when you get probably 60 minutes of a main training session most weeks, you need to really knuckle down on what you do when you're at your best. And we saw a great response from the group coming out of Perth and beating the D's with that focus, and we'll continue to do that for them.